Hello, and welcome to Entering the Darkness podcast. This is Colin, and we have a very special guest tonight. This is Wilma, and of course, you probably know from Rejected Monsters and many various other bands around Phoenix. And how are you doing today?
I'm okay. It's been a long day.
Okay, there you go. There you go. And so, of course, we just want to kind of know how you got your start here in the scenes in Phoenix and everything like that. Like, I mean, what started Rejected Monsters? I remember as well too that you used to be in that Two in the Chest a while back, years back, and
Mhm.
all these different things. So it's just kind of like what got you started in music?
I actually started music when I was about 12, actually, but I wasn't here in Phoenix. I was actually in Harrisburg, Illinois. Um, I just had a big love of music and kept wanting to make my own and not knowing how to. Um,
Hmm.
but I didn't actually start playing in bands until I was about 15 in Newberg, Oregon.
Hmm.
Um,
Right on.
Band didn't go anywhere. We did one performance and it was terrible.
Oh,
Um,
oh.
I, I
And
I joined a few bands here after I had moved here when I was like 17, 18,
mhm.
but we were also terrible.
Also there. Okay. Oh,
So I kind of left playing music for a while. Still practiced at home, of course, but I joined a band called Death Ride.
Death
If
Ride.
if any
Okay.
heard of them, they're not around anymore. I
Never.
recorded the album with them,
Mhm.
um, and then got kicked out like a week later.
What the? Oh.
And then, as you said, Two in the Chest was the next band. I ended up joining them and being with them for 2 years before getting removed from them.
I remember
Uh,
that. I remember that one now. I remember that. Yeah.
yeah, I was in Mary Tyler Morphine for a little bit. I got
Mhm.
removed from that.
Mhm.
Desert Vikings fell apart.
Mhm.
I was in Otis Disciples. I left that.
Mhm.
Um, and I started Rejected Monsters, and it's still going. We're looking for a drummer right now,
Yeah,
but
drummer. Okay.
we have that. And then I have Tactless.
Actress.
I joined them recently. Um,
Okay.
I'm recording the album with them. Hopefully, it's not another Death Ride situation.
Mhm. All
And
right.
I'm in Dutch Rosenberg Theater
Dutch Rosenberg's Theater. Yeah. I think
for
you sent
about
me
a
that
year
logo
now,
earlier.
almost.
Mhm.
What?
You sent me that logo earlier, which was really cool. It's
Yeah,
a really cool
yeah.
logo. And it was good.
Fun times.
Mhm. Oh yeah. And so I mean with Rejected Monsters, I was checking it out earlier and my God, I really like the way you guys do that, like the bright colors, the different things like that. It's quite unique actually, I think. It's really got a lot of like I felt a little bit of toxic narcotic in it. Also some like, like more also how do you put this like lower class brats, stuff like that. It was kind of like all kind of mixed in. It was really cool.
Yeah, I actually got the idea of the color scheme from old monster movie stuff. You would see like the blood coming off the lettering, or the letter would be all green and all wobbly. And I'm like, why don't I mix the two? So
Mhm.
I did that. Um, and then the black light idea came about because of a band I used to listen to that's not around anymore, called Peppermint Creeps.
Peppermint Creeps. Okay.
They were from LA, and they kind of mixed glam rock with punk, and they had Blacklight show, but they were like very hair metal looking, like the big hair, the bigger the hair,
Mhm.
the better, and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Um, and I liked that aesthetic, but I'm like, I wanted to keep a monster theme to it to fit
Mhm.
the band's name. So
Right.
started
Mhm.
incorporating blacklight monsters. Like our first lead guitar player was a blacklight zombie.
Mhm.
So
Okay. Right on,
yeah,
right on. That's
yeah.
always good. And I mean, how because I've seen like you posting a lot of different pictures about like different sh like for different shows and stuff like that. Like, how often do you guys play? I mean, are you pretty well known around Phoenix and all that?
Rejected. The punk scene have pretty much mostly heard of us, and the
Hmm.
metal scene has heard of us. My bass player Brooke, who's actually at the Nile watching a show right now,
Hmm.
um, she's part of the Maidens of Metal, so she goes to a lot of metal shows, knows a lot of metal people,
Hmm.
and I've been around the punk scene for a while, so I know a lot of people, but not
Hmm.
everybody.
Hmm.
The punk scenes always said we were too metal, and the metal scenes always said we were too punk. So it's
So
fun
it's kind of like
times.
no place to call home in a sense.
Right.
Right. Hmm.
But
Yeah.
Rejected hasn't played a show since we lost our fill-in drummer. Um,
Hmm.
we've been looking for a drummer. We actually are playing a show in Albuquerque in March. With
Much.
because we don't have a drummer now, we're gonna be playing with a drum machine
Okay.
because we do have a full album, an EP, and two singles. So we have
Right.
all the drum tracks for all of that. So we technically play any of our songs.
Hmm.
So
All right. That's good. And then I remember. Oh my, wait, actually, you're a bass player, correct? Or you're a guitar player? Do you just do all the instruments?
Rejected, I'm guitar and vocals. In some songs, I play bass.
Right on.
Tactless, I play bass and do backup vocals. And Dutch, I'm just bass.
Dutch is just bass. Right
Yeah,
on. Right on. I mean, do you have like a preference for basses or anything like that, or is it like does it really
I
matter?
I prefer bass.
No,
I've
I
always
mean like certain brands and you kind of like certain.
tones and stuff.
Hmm.
There's a lot of bass that I actually like.
Hmm.
Um, my one of my favorite bands is Os Rotten.
Hmm.
And I love their really grungy, dirty tone that they have.
Hmm.
But then you have me flipping over to like Crimson Ghost, where the bass is more like standard bass sound. And then you have me going over to like, different bands like Weasel and stuff like that, where that has like the crunchy, like clean sounding bass, like really
Hmm.
stand out there. For people that don't know them, think of the bass in Nihilism from Rancid, like
Oh
that
yeah.
kind of, like
Hmm.
really kind of odd tone. Yeah.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
Uh, I like mixtures of sounds, but I try to stick with that fuzz overdrive
Hmm.
sound a little bit with some compression.
Buzz overdrive.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, that's always yeah. I too I tend to use a lot of distortion on my bass as well too. It's just one of those deals that there's a couple tracks actually that I've recorded in the past where I actually somehow got my bass to sound like the guitar on Transylvanian Hunger by Dark Throne. I don't know how I got it to do it, but I just was tweaking with a lot of stuff, and then all of a sudden I start playing this thing, and I'm like, oh my God, it sounds like Transylvanian Hunger on the bass. This is crazy. So I'm one of those people that likes to tend that I like to mess around with effects. Sure, I can do clean tones if I need to, but it's just like I get bored easily. So it's only usually, you know.
Well, with what I've been doing,
Mhm.
because I don't have my own bass rig anymore, I lost mine.
Mhm.
I have my own basses, just don't have that my own head and speaker. I've been
Same.
playing through my bass player Brooks for the other bands,
Hmm.
and what I do is I turn the bass like halfway down, and then
Hmm.
I boost the mids and the treble a little bit,
Hmm.
and slash gain whatever you have on your bass head. This one is like a multi-channel head. It looks like it's actually not meant to be bass head because it's got guitar effect stuff on it. But I
Hmm.
turned that up so it's got that punchy, growly sound a little bit.
Kind of like Lemmy, kind of like what he would do. Oh yeah.
Uh, so my bass player, Brooke, she wanted to play bass because of Lemmy. She actually bought the same distortion pedal he had and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So
Yep. My
yeah,
my whole thing was with the bass was originally, believe it or not, Les Claypool and Fieldy from Corn.
Field Fieldy. I remember we talked about this one back when we met.
Hmm.
I like Fieldy. I kind of got disappointed by Fieldy when I saw them live because I saw
Hmm.
him hitting the wrong notes, but he was audibly playing the right notes, but it was not the right notes on the board. I'm like, oh, backtracks or autocorrect. Crap.
Auto correct, auto tune. Yep. There we go.
Yeah.
Because it looks like he's always on the same frets every single time. Is what it is a
Yeah.
lot of the time. But that was the style because like how deep he got the bass.
Mhm.
But then I started listening also to like the way Les Claypool did things, the very flamenco style,
Mhm.
and then I was like, okay, I can do like a lot of funk stuff. But then I started listening to Typo Negative, and then I noticed that Peter Steele was using a lot of distortion, and I'm like, okay, so then started messing around with the amps, and I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna try to get this trebly sound, but to get this really deep, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And when I was in the Philippines, people could tell you that like how deep my tone was, but also how clear. Because there was a certain trick that I learned when I was in high school that I still use the same trick. I still use the same settings that I've been using since high school. You know?
Yeah, I would say one of my favorite bass players, because I
Hmm.
do love Les Claypool and I like
Hmm.
Fieldy. I actually really love Ryan Martini.
Oh God, that guy. I'm just
Yeah,
like, wow.
the tap and the slides, and I'm
Hmm.
like, oh my God, it's so beautiful.
Hmm.
So
Wait.
I love that, but I also love like Fat Mike for like his playing and things. So I have a lot of bass that I do like,
A lot of
but
bass.
I don't try to imitate anyone specifically though.
No, for
Um,
sure. No, it's always you can borrow stuff. You can always like kind of like, hey, I could do this. I would never do that, but this is like, But yeah,
yeah.
that's all.
Forgotten the time we laid in wait to bring you nightmares. To prove that we are great, 'cause we are rejected monsters. We are rejected monsters. We are rejected monsters. We are rejected monsters. We stuck around, just beneath the ground, just beneath the dirt. And now we're here to stay, 'cause we are rejected monsters. We are rejected monsters. We are rejected monsters. We are rejected monsters. Rejected no more, forgotten no more. We live on now. Rejected no more, forgotten no more. We live on now. Rejected no more, forgotten no more. We live on now. Rejected no more, forgotten no more. We are rejected monsters. We are rejected monsters. We are rejected monsters. We are rejected monsters. Rejected no more, forgotten no more. We live on now. Rejected no more, forgotten no more. We live on now. Rejected no more, forgotten no more. We live on now. Rejected no more, forgotten no more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's always those different styles. But I
Hmm.
mean, with being in like with the way the music scene is now and everything, like, as I'm seeing, like the younger generation, I mean, do you feel that there's still any kind of future for like punk, metal, hardcore, anything like
Oh,
that?
very much so. If you ever go out to like local punk shows here in the Valley, Phoenix, for those not living here, we call it the Valley.
Hmm.
If you go to the underground shows, you're running the bands you've never heard of, and you will like be blown away by some of their ability. Like I
Hmm.
remember going to a backyard show out on the res, like the native res, and I'm walking
Hmm.
in, I'm just hearing this awesome sound with this beautifully like angry, like riot girly voice, and I don't
Hmm.
see the singer. I'm like, where is she? This sounds awesome. I walk around the corner and past the fence, and she's just laying on the ground, just rocking back and forth, singing. I'm
Oh
like,
man.
I love this. People were like moshing, throwing hands. It was fun.
Hmm. Those were the best
Uh,
shows growing up too, especially like in a small town, right, where I came from in Michigan. We grew up in a little small town called Stockbridge, so there was a certain amount of us that would be like, in our school that like that we were known as as the kids that would always play music. There were certain ones of us, you know what I mean? We had the punk kids, we had some of the metal kids, and I was part of both, and so that was and my friends and I. well, my friend a lot of the time, his bands were from school. He had a band from school that was like 8 miles away from us, and they would always do DIY
Oh,
shows at little
mhm.
township halls. They would rent out like a township hall or like a church basement, and they would just do all these things. And that was always the most fun I'd ever had because it was like, dude, the DIY shows are the best way to do it. It's the best way to go.
Yeah, I like DIY shows because a lot of time DIY shows are all ages, and there's not that many all ages venues here in Phoenix,
Hmm.
at least not for like local bands.
Hmm.
So there's a venue, Ground Zero. I'm not allowed to say where it's at until like we're doing a show and invite you,
Right.
because they've moved like three times. Um,
Uh-oh.
but there's entirely DIY, and all the shows are all ages,
Hmm.
unless stated otherwise, obviously.
Hmm.
So, and they always have great shows. Like you'll have some shows where there'll be like nobody in the crowd, but then you'll have shows where you got like 12, 13-year olds running around and like moshing and like skanking and stuff. And you're like,
Mm.
yes.
Yep, that was always the fun part too. That was actually like that was me and my friends at the local punk shows that we would go to when I was younger. We were skanking around, we were jumping all over the place, and getting in the pits with everybody. I think I had my friend tie my hands behind my back one time in the death metal pit, which was a big mistake. You know what I mean? Well, that was but that was fun. And then there was a show we saw in Lansing, Michigan. It was actually at an art gallery inside of an art gallery. And I was like, you guys booked a bunch of death metal bands in an art gallery. I'm thinking, is this kind of like you guys are asking for destruction here? What's going on? And then their singer was kind of like, yeah, we can't mosh in here. They're like, these are really, really expensive paintings. We can't like jump in, we can't like slam at anything here. And so you just have a bunch of people that are just kind of doing this and like looking like they're getting
Oh,
ready
the
to like,
pogo. They were
yeah,
pogoing.
people had
Yeah.
to pogo. One thing I wanted to ask too, of course, I know obviously I knew you in cognizant as Will, but now you are of course Wilma, and now,
Yes.
yep, exactly. And so the thing is, if I may,
Mhm.
what is it like being a trans woman in the scene now? I mean, are they accepting of it?
Some. Some are
So,
very accepting of it, others are not. I've had really great responses where people have come up and hugged me and like been so
mhm,
proud of me and everything like that. But I've also had people that shunned me, pushed away, people that have literally walked out of the venue, stood outside till my band finished, and then walked back in, but saying to me, "You guys sound amazing, but I can't look at you." Stuff like that. I have
yeah,
friends in a band called the Karens.
mhm,
Um, their drummer's actually Dr. Chud from the Misfits.
mhm,
Uh, they also are trans led.
mhm.
Um, and they actually have run into a lot of problems with promoters and venues not wanting to work with them because of it. And with today's climate,
Mhm.
we deal with a lot more hate, a lot more aggression against us. So instead of running away and shying away and everything, I actually push it more now. I
Exactly.
went from being very like conservative with how I dressed on stage to my last show I just played was literally a shirt that was up to here
Mhm.
and a mini skirt about yay long.
Right on.
And
Exactly.
I played that way because I'm like,
Exactly.
oh, you have a problem? Yeah, I'm going to rub it in your face.
Exactly. No, no, no shame in being who you are. You know what I mean? You got to be who
Exactly.
you are. You got to be who you are. And the thing is
Mhm.
also, I want to let you know that
Mhm.
with this podcast, this is a safe space. We do not judge anybody. We are very accepting of everything. You are welcome anytime. Okay? Always remember that. And it's just, one of those things because I myself do have uh, family members that are part of the LGBTQ community. My father, I'm very proud of him, and his husband. And they're very, very near and dear to my heart. So that's exactly the reason why I've always been, an ally, so to speak.
Mhm.
And and I will always be. You know what I mean? That's one of those things. And so, just kind of get that out of the way. I just want to let you know that too, that you have a safe space here.
So
So
yeah, I
good.
do that. I'm actually even more proud of who I am with it. I was fighting it for a very long time because I was raised by a very conservative Christian family.
Mhm.
Uh, so I fought it.
Mhm.
I got in trouble for wearing girls' clothes as a kid a few times. I got beat
Mhm.
up at school for walking to school in my girlfriend's skirt.
Uh-oh.
Uh, so.
And I even told people that the next band that I start, I don't really care what people would think. I'll go up there in stockings, a short skirt, things like that. I'll go through with all that stuff. I'd be like, I don't care, man. It's gonna get me into trouble. Like, hell yeah, let's do it. You know what I mean?
Just make sure there's a rainbow flag on stage so that they know that it's not a parody.
Right, exactly. Exactly. You know what I mean? But I keep saying to people, I'm like, guys, can get me into trouble. Let's do it. You know what I mean? Hell yeah. We get people
Yeah.
that can kind of getting eyebrows raised. Hell yeah, let's do it. You know what I mean? Um, we did that in high school. I mean, come on, we had these hardcore bands and all these other things like that. People weren't very used to that. And we get up on stage and people are like, what the hell? You know what the hell's going on? That was and like I used to like kind of like how you have the eyeliner and stuff like that on. I would do that at school. Like I'd literally have all that stuff on. I had it like all the way down like this. I'd have like my hair spiked all the way out. I'd have all these different things. It was just I come in like dressed completely like that a lot of the time. I even had like these like finger gloves on all the time. It was like the total look with the big trip pants. You know?
I wore the trip pants. I actually have photos of me wearing large black and red trip pants with an Avenged Sevenfold shirt on and
hmm
arm warmers,
hmm
with eyeliner on, with my hair short and black,
hmm
and like round sunglasses on.
Oh,
And I
that's
was
cool.
wearing black and red Converse.
Black and red Converse. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Those are awesome.
yeah.
That was because I remember I think it was my sister or somebody found a picture of that when I was in high school. I was like, oh my God, whoa, that's been a long time. And then,
Mhm.
having been in a lot of different bands though, for you as well. Like, I mean, are there any that kind of just stick out for you, like that you remember that you wish kind of like, oh man, I wish it would have worked out with them?
Yes and no, actually. Um, the one band that I started kind of with some of my friends, we recorded one song. We
hmm
were actually recording more. We even made like a whole YouTube and Facebook account and everything. We were like dead set on doing this.
hmm
Um, I wish that that actually had pushed further than it did. We got the
hmm
one song recorded. The drummer and the singer that we had set up hated each other. We
Uh-oh.
didn't know that they hated each other. And
Uh-oh.
until it came time for them to come record, and they refused to come when each other were around.
hmm
Then it fell apart. I missed
Uh,
that. I kind of wish Death Ride because I liked the music, but the drummer, after like I was out of the band, of course, uh,
mhm.
started saying some very racist things. So I'm like, okay, I don't want that. Um,
hmm
I liked Mary Tyler Morphine's, but I didn't like the guitar player. Uh,
hmm
not as a person overall, but as like a band leader, he was kind of not nice about things.
Oh, those
Uh,
kind of guys.
I remember because I played guitar in that band.
hmm
Um, I remember a couple of times on stage, he came over and turned my amp off
That's
because
a
I was
no-no.
interfering with him. Yeah,
Oh
he did it
boy.
to the bass player too.
Oh boy.
So
You know,
yeah.
that can
Uh,
actually that can
uh,
result in death. That can result in
um,
death.
but that's it. Like out of all the bands that I've been in, those are the ones that I miss playing in, and I miss the music. But they all had their own reasons for falling apart. The
Mhm.
one band that we did one song, it was called The Children of Corruption,
Oh, okay.
actually. I was the main songwriter for it, which was interesting,
hmm
because I was playing guitar and bass for about 4 years at that point. So I was still not very good.
hmm
Um, but I enjoyed it. And the guitar player, the lead guitar player, his name was Casey,
hmm
Casey Arhulo or Arhujo. I don't know how
Arusha?
it's actually pronounced. Um, but me and him still talk occasionally. We've
Uh-huh.
talked about coming back together and like jamming and things like that, but we never have. I haven't heard from him since I came out, so
Oh,
I'm not sure if
mm,
that's a thing or what.
right.
Because we go a couple of years without talking to each other sometimes. So
Hmm. You know
my
what I
first
mean?
my first time trying, I tried hanging myself. Um,
Mm.
I broke the ceiling fan.
Oof.
I
Yeah.
got beat for that.
Mm.
Second time, um, I tried to shoot myself.
Oh.
That didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And the last time I was 15.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember doing it, if
Mm-hmm.
that's any consolation.
Okay.
Um, but I jumped out of a car going down the highway.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Dang. There was, oh
Um,
yeah.
but it's never an option. There's always people to talk to,
For
always.
sure. There always are.
There's always a better tomorrow. And
Hmm.
I'm living proof of that. Like my life's gotten so
Exactly.
much better since then.
Hmm. That's good, at
So,
least. And especially with music too. I mean, like people have no idea like how therapeutic that can be, especially when you're up on stage or you're even in just a room practicing with people.
mhm.
Like how you can be as angry as you want, you can be as aggressive as you want. After that, you feel like, oh my God, man. Oh, I feel so much better after that because because you can get it all out and nobody's gonna stop you from doing it. You know what I mean?
Exactly,
Hmm.
exactly. And I mean that's what I do with my music. That's what I do with my
Hmm.
art. Um, I try to let out all my aggression. Um, it helps a lot. Uh, I do I do talk more about how I'm feeling now because
Hmm.
I'm not sure about some people, but I was raised with the whole, oh, guys don't talk about their feelings thing. And
Hmm.
I would start crying because I was upset, and I would get smacked and be told, I'll give you something to cry about.
Oh God, yeah, that.
So
Hmm.
um, that's not okay in any way.
No, that isn't. No,
So,
like being told by a baseball coach one day you get hit in the head with a baseball and you're gonna deserve it. Oh
right.
man, that stuck with me. That still sticks with me to this day. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck did he say that for? I was like, what, 11 years old, 12 years old? Dude, I'm just learning how to play baseball. This isn't the Major League Baseball, bro. This is a freaking little league team. You know what I mean? It's not that critical.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
I've dealt with that with a lot of things. I wrote an autobiography a little bit about my life,
Mhm.
like key moments throughout my life. Um, the one that I can say really kind of shaped a lot of how I view a lot of things was my relationship with my stepfather.
Mhm.
Um, he was not a good person. He's no longer with us. He
Mhm.
killed himself. Um, but he treated us like utter crap.
Mhm.
For instance, one snippet, he would shoot pellet guns at me and my sister for fun.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No.
So,
Mm-mm.
I have a strong aversion to guns because of
Mhm.
it. Um, I I freak out a lot. I have PTSD,
I guess you. Okay.
partially because of our job at Cognizant too. That exacerbated it a lot.
That was, I still, honestly, even though I told people it never affected me, I remember just like, I'd come home sometimes and I'd tell my wife, I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck was that? You know what I mean? Like, I'd tell her some of the most messed up and fucked up things we'd ever seen. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's like, oh my God. Like, I mean, even sometimes I still remember some of those things.
Oh, I do
Oh
too.
my God.
And the biggest thing with that is like I was married when we met.
Mhm.
I'm not
Yeah.
anymore. I'm
I remember you
divorced.
mentioning that. Yeah.
Um, because of how emotionally distant and everything I was, and everything with work and how I was reacting negatively to everything, it made our relationship worse.
Mhm.
Um, I still think we wouldn't have stayed together. I just think it would probably have taken longer.
Mhm.
But the job literally destroyed me mentally,
I remember
and
that. Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah. Well, because I remember that too. I think it was like the last time I'd seen you there before you actually left. It was like I could see that you were like visibly just like bothered, and like I was just like, oh my God, I'm like I don't want to bother him right now. I don't want to bother. And see like I was just like, oh my God, like I could see that it was really affecting you. And me trying to hide, me trying to mask it. I'm kind of like, oh man.
Well, if you
And
remember, they wanted us to go through like 300 pieces of content a day. And
yep,
I was going
yep.
through like 12, 1300.
I remember that. Yep.
So I was
12,
seeing
1300.
just nothing but terrible all day.
Hmm.
And I
I
couldn't do it
remember.
anymore.
I remember seeing like the ISIS propaganda videos. Those were just like, oh my God,
Hmm.
we're not under NDA anymore. We can say that. Come on. But it's
No,
like,
we're not. We actually won a lawsuit against them.
We did, in a sense, yeah.
Yeah.
And now they've gone nuts.
Oh, I'm utterly done with Meta. Like, the only reason I still have mine is for the bands and the people that can only communicate through there.
Mhm.
Um, I've moved over to other platforms. Um, I use Blue Sky, but my Blue Sky has a lot of my not safe for work content on it.
Mhm. Oh,
Um,
they're free up.
because as I said to you earlier, I do Pornhub videos now
Okay,
and OnlyFans. So
right
like
on.
I have to promote somehow.
There you go. Let's try for
But
sure, definitely. Mhm.
I use Blue Sky and Reddit, and Reddit's not the safest place either. But
No.
at least at least if you report things, the subreddit
Mhm.
moderators will remove it. The website doesn't
Sorry.
really care.
Man, that's it's really it's really really nice hearing kind of sort of an insight into your life as to like kind of what got you into the music thing too, and the fact that you can actually use that to kind of use it like in a therapeutic way. That's always really really a good thing, and that's also honestly in my own case too. I tell people that music is what kept me alive all these years. Had it
Mhm.
not, my bass, I still have my black bass has all these stickers on it. It doesn't work. It doesn't work anymore. But it's in my son's room in the closet. I'd go get it and show you, but I don't want to wake him up. You know what I mean? But it's just that was the one that started the whole thing. That was the thing that kept me alive all those years, all 4 years of high school. You know what I mean? Because I play it until the electronics burned out. You know what I mean? Until everything was like until it was unplayable. But I still kept it. You know what I
I
mean?
I saw my first guitar. It was an acoustic. I still have it. It's in my living room right now. Um, I don't have my first electric guitar anymore. I lost that to a pawn shop. But I still have my first bass. And it's
Hmm.
covered in stickers. The strap is being held on by gaffer tape
Yup. Hmm.
because it's so damaged that like but
Yup.
I still play it. That's what I use for tactless.
Hmm.
Um, it's my baby.
Hmm.
And as for before I played music, I listened to a lot of music. I was listening to like what my mom listened to
Hmm.
as a kid, like Green Jello, Skid Row, AC/DC, Metallica,
Hmm.
Def Leppard, stuff like that.
Hmm.
I drew a lot of love for Michael Jackson and the Spice Girls early on,
Okay.
actually.
Mm. Right.
Um, then as I discovered like punk and metal, like real metal, not like
Hmm.
commercial metal stuff,
Right.
it drew me a lot more in. Like I was listening to like Mudvayne, Mushroomhead, Corn, Slipknot,
Hmm.
Dry Kill Logic, Cannibal
Good
Corpse,
stuff.
stuff like that.
Corpse, yeah.
And
Hmm.
then with the punk, I was listening to like more poppy punk 'cause that's all I had access to in a small country town.
Hmm.
Like the Offspring and
Oh God.
Rancid,
Hmm.
Blink-182, Sum 41, stuff like that.
Hmm.
But when I moved to Oregon, I got introduced to bands like CKY,
Oh yeah.
Osrot, and the Subhumans, the Mongoloids, uh, Lower Class Brats,
Oh
stuff like
yes.
that.
Hmm.
So,
Um,
and it just kept progressing. Now I'm listening to bands that I'd never heard of until like last year a lot,
hmm.
but I still listen to my Osrotten and I listen to a lot of Dope and
Dope.
Mushroom Head and stuff. My favorite band is actually controversial though. They're actually right there.
Hmm.
It's Mindless Self Indulgence.
Oh God. I saw them. I saw them. Yep. Mhm.
I've seen them live 3 times.
3 times.
Um,
Oh God.
yeah, but they're extremely controversial because of Jimmy Urine being a groomer.
Oh, Grimmer.
He was
Uh-oh.
dating a 16-year-old when he was like 30.
Oh. So that
So
was proven.
it was proven in court.
Uh-oh.
Jimmy Urine
Jesus.
lives in Italy now.
Oh boy. So basically
Uh,
MSI isn't around then anymore or no?
mm-mm.
Hmm.
They're not, and neither is Uringer or the Left Rights.
Uh-oh.
So
Jeez. I've never
um,
seen them actually. It was their what was it? I saw them at Soma in San Diego back in like '05. And it was just like one of the craziest things I'd ever seen in my entire life. I was like, this is freaking awesome. When I saw that, I was just
I
like, I was jumping all over, like, yes.
I saw them at the Tempe Marquee with London After Midnight and the Birthday Massacre. That was the first time I saw them. and there was a
Mhm.
guy dressed as a penis that jumped up on stage and punched Jimmy in the face, and then tried to jump out
Oh.
in the crowd, but landed on the
Mhm.
barricade instead.
Oh no.
And security carried him out. And whenever he got hit, Jimmy's like, "Catch that dick." I'm like, you can't make this shit up.
Actually, see, that's the kind of thing that I would do. I would actually come out dressed as a dick. I would come out dressed as that, just playing baseball, and just be like, yeah, and like acting like that, even like I didn't even know what the hell's going on. You know what I mean? That's what I would do. You know? But it's like that. But the MSI was probably one of the most interesting shows I've ever seen because was it Suicide City with Jen from formerly of Kitty was opening for them, and then. God, who else did I see? There's been some pretty interesting shows,
Oh,
you know.
I love Kitty, by the way.
Kitty. Hmm.
Hmm.
Kitty. Oh yeah, Morgan and Mercedes and all those guys. Yeah.
My game handle has been Hippo Kitty for a very long time. That was my YouTube and stuff too.
Hello, Kitty.
It's because Kittie, just like the
Hmm.
band, because I loved them. So I'm like, okay,
Oh yeah. Well, so
I still
actually,
love them.
oh yeah, they're very good. I'm glad they came back too. I'm glad that they actually got a record contract again this time, and they're they're killing it with it. With not necessarily with Fallon on the guitar anymore, but they have different people, but it's still
Hmm.
Mercedes and Morgan, which is good. And
Hmm.
because I mean I think it was them to begin with anyway, but you
Yeah,
know.
they're the sisters.
Yeah, of
So
course. It was them to begin with in the first place. And that one Fallon, but who's now an actress apparently in Canada. Um,
yeah,
and but it was, wasn't that bad. And I although I've never gotten to see Kitty live though, which is weird. I've
neither have
wanted to.
I.
No. Oh
Mm-mm.
man.
I've seen bands I don't like live.
Mm.
That's
I've
because they were
seen
playing with bands I liked. Like I saw
mm,
Five Finger Death Punch, and I hate Five Finger Death Punch, but that's because they were playing with Rob Zombie.
of course. Well,
So
that's the thing. A lot of people make fun of me for that. They're like, you like Rob Zombie? I'm like, dude, I've been like a huge Rob Zombie fan for years. I'm
I,
like,
I like old. I like old
oh,
Rob Zombie.
old Zombie.
The last time I listened to him was when he released the song "Sick Bubblegum," and I'm
Sick
like,
Bubblegum.
this is terrible.
That's terrible. Got it. Oh yeah. No, but what is it? I think that I got to see him 2001 on the Merry Mayhem tour with Ozzy Osbourne. And welcome back. It looks like we had a little bit of a break there, I guess you guys can say. So again, welcome back to Entering the Darkness. We're still here with Wilma, kind of just shooting the shit right now, just whatever else it is. So I think where we left off here, we were just talking about like different bands and different things like that, right? Kind of different things here.
Yeah, we were actually going on about Jimmy Urine and all of his
That's
problems at
right.
some of our concerts that we've gone to.
Mhm.
Yeah. My first
Yep.
concert I ever attended was actually a band called Die Ignorant with Northside Kings
Oh,
opening
nice.
up for the Misfits.
Ooh, nice.
I'm actually
The
friends with the singer from Die Ignorant. He lives here.
he lives there? Oh
Uh-huh.
man.
And I
The
recorded Death Ride. We recorded with the guitar player from Northside Kings.
nice. The ones that I actually the first show that I ever went to, like the very first ever was Primus, Limp Bizkit, and Power Man 5000. Yeah. It
Wes
was
Borland is daddy. Oh,
and he was that was when they were really, really young. Like this was like 1997. So like
I,
Wes, still had like the long hair,
wait, what's our age difference?
I'm actually 40, believe it or not. I'm gonna be 41 at the end of the month, so. Mhm.
I'm turning 34 this year.
Oh yeah, no, it was like 19. I was like what 13, 14 years old when I saw Limp Bizkit, and then I saw Primus, and it was the craziest thing because it was on Halloween night, 1997 in Detroit, at what was called the State Theater, now it's called the Fillmore. And Les Claypool was dressed like a freaking GI Joe. He looked like a soldier, kind of like he had like it was like a black one of those black sleeveless like white beaters on, and then he had like the camo things. And he's doing his little thing like where he's dancing around like this and all that. And Brain, their drummer at the time, had like a gigantic sombrero just running and like running shorts on. Larry was dressed. I can't remember like how Larry was dressed, but that was kind of funny. I was like, man, they definitely went all out for Halloween this year. And Fred Durst had bronchitis, but he still went up on stage and sounded pretty good, you know.
I've never seen Limp Bizkit live. I like Limp Bizkit. A lot of people are going to give me shit for that. I don't care. I like Limp Bizkit. Um, I like Primus.
Hmm.
That show. I've never seen either of them live or Christopher or anything like that. Like I've never seen
Christopher.
Les Claypool live ever.
Oh
Um,
man, it's like it's almost godlike. You know, it's almost godlike seeing him. You know.
I've seen a lot of shows that if I didn't see the show when I did, I would have been very sad. I was on the last tour for Motorhead before Lemmy died. Um, I saw Guar
Oh, Gar.
before Rocky died, but after
Hmm.
the guitar player died. Um, so that was interesting. I saw Soilwork
Hmm.
play with Fear Factory
Ooh,
whenever it
nice.
wasn't just Dino. They had the
Hmm.
full band. So
Hmm.
if I missed out, I missed out. I saw the Cold Chamber reunion tour.
Hmm.
That was cool.
I saw Cold
Uh,
Chamber actually, believe it or not, headline for Slipknot. Like actually the headliner Slipknot played before them. This was what 1999, right around the time Slipknot came out with the first EP or whatever, or the first album.
the first album was like 96.
That was, yeah, Mate Feed Kill Repeat with Craig on guitar. And which then he ended up in samples, which was probably the better thing for him, but in my opinion. But it was but no, I saw them, yeah, 99, Harpo's. The three times that I saw them was at Harpo's. And it was the first time, that, like, people really didn't know who they were. It was, I think Amen had played, but I was still in line, so I missed Amen. I didn't get to see those guys. And then I think Machine Head was there.
I saw Machine
And
Head. They're good.
they basically insulted Max though, Cavalera, because Logan Mader had left the band and joined Soulfly, and then and I think it was I heard Rob, their singer, say something about, like, yeah, did you like that song Attitude? He's like, yeah, that's better than Soulfly's old guitar player could have ever played it. Basically insulting Logan Mader, you know, something like that, or with the other ones, and it was just, it was, I
But
mean, it
that
was like way back.
that was back when Machine Head was still new metal.
New metal, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, and they're
Oh
not new
yeah.
metal anymore. They're more like progressive metal, I guess.
In a sense
Uh,
now, yeah.
yeah, but I remember it was like time to see, believe this in me.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. No. And
Hmm.
I think it was also, wasn't their singer is the one who, Rob, I think it was he called he's the one who called out Phil Anselmo at that
Oh yeah,
thing.
yeah. Fuck Phil Anselmo. um, I don't. I have no sympathy for Nazis.
Well, yeah, I mean it's been I know there's always been different heated debates between that. I've never really known, like, what Phil's initial affiliation was with any of that, but in some ways I can see why Vinny didn't want to talk to him anymore, when Vinny died. And I remember that night, oh my God. I was doing nights at Cognizant already at that point. I found out
Hmm.
about it, and I'm like, and for the rest of that night I couldn't concentrate. I was like, damn it. I'm like, now Vinny. I was like,
Hmm.
damn. I'm like, first dime now, Vinny. I'm like, what the
And
hell,
he
dude?
was playing it in Hell Yeah
And
with
yeah,
the guitar player from Nothing Face.
those guys were good. Those guys were
Yeah,
really good.
a lot of people
You
don't
know,
remember them.
no, I know they were. I was my guitar player in high school. Actually, my guitar player Brian, who was we were in a band called Metabolysis. Believe it or not, we combined two words and came up with metabolysis, like metabolism and metamorphosis. And then we're just kind of like, yeah, what metabolysis? Like, okay, why not? And but we were in a band called Metabolysis, and Brian was always like, he always told me, dude, you got to hear Nothing Face, man. I'm like, okay. He's like, dude, seriously, man. And we'd be going to practice, and he'd come pick me up, and we'd be driving to his house to go to practice. And he's like, dude, listen to it. We'd be listening to Nothing Face. Just like, yeah. In his truck, just like jamming out to Nothing Face or Mushroom Head or Slipknot, you know. And in this tiny town, and everybody's kind of looking at us like we're all like crazy, you know. And this like Ford
No,
Ranger and just jamming out.
yeah, there's a lot of bands that people don't remember that were kind of popular for their time. Like Dry Kill Logic.
Mhm.
They were popular enough to do the song MLB Slam,
Oh yeah.
which kind of killed their career, by the way.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Um,
Some things do.
and Nothing Face, of course.
Hmm.
So like you had them, and no one remembers them at all.
Hmm.
A lot of people don't remember Orgy, and I'm like, I love
I remember
Orgy.
those guys.
They're still
Actually,
around.
Well, actually, there's a story about that. I was because my dad lives in California. He lives in like San Diego, and I remember one day, I went out there visiting him for like a summer. My sister, I can't remember what she was doing. She was already living out there, and my dad and I were just like, let's go up to Hollywood for a day. So we went to Hollywood, and we're eating at this place called Carney's. It's like a train car. It's like a burger shop, right? Big, nice and famous off of Sunset. I go in there, and I got my coal chamber shirt on, right? And I see this dude sitting on the other side. He walks in with these two girls and stuff like that. And I'm looking at this guy, and I recognize who he is, but who is this? And then I see this guy looking at me the whole time because he notices the coal chamber shirt because their guitar player Amir Durak was the producer or the engineer on Coal Chamber's first album. And I'm like, why is this guy looking at me? And then all of a sudden I'm like, wait, and I looked at my dad and I'm like, wait a minute, that's Paige Haley from Orgy. you know, and he keeps looking at me like this, like he was wanting to approach and ask me something, but he didn't, and I didn't want to bother him because he had these two girls with him. I'm like, yeah, but then, but I overheard him talking about going on a big stadium tour with Korn for the Family Values tour. So I was like, yep, that's Paige. So I'm at Korn, he's just getting some burgers.
Uh, the only people I've met by entire accident that were famous were Davy Calabrese
Hmm.
from Calabrese,
Right.
um, and Eric AK from Flotsam and Jetsam.
Ooh, nice.
Eric AK and my bass player have done karaoke together a few times, apparently.
Hmm.
Um, but I've met him by accident. I just so happened to be at the same bar he was at.
Same bar.
Um,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Um, and yeah, I've met people by accident that way.
Hmm.
Um, Davy Calabrese, it was at a show my friends in Pig were
Hmm.
playing with Wednesday 13,
Nice.
which they were doing the Murder Dolls stuff. So the stuff that had Joey Jordison on it.
Joey Jordison. Oh
Um,
man, rest in peace. Yeah.
yeah. So I was there for that, and Davy Calabrese was there. I got a photo with him and everything. I was like, "Oh my God, you're here!"
Yeah. Well,
Um, yeah.
there's one person there's like one I'd like to meet. I actually asked, so like invited them, but they declined, but they were at least nice about it. It was Max Cavalera. I'd like to meet Max, but I haven't. I don't know. I mean, like I think I wasn't expecting any response, but Gloria is the one who responded, and it was really and they were very cool. They were very cool about it. He appreciated the offer, but he was just like, yeah, it's because I guess they were getting ready to go on tour with Soulfly and all that. And I'm like, I didn't want to like disrupt that, you know what I mean, or anything like that. But it was cool.
I, I have connections that know Cavalera, like not personally know him, but like
Mhm.
know him, interact with him on an occasional basis.
Oh, wow.
Um, I can't drop names because I'm on an
Oh, yeah.
NDA.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I have a few friends of mine that are a bit more famous. Um, like the
Hmm.
Karens, I already brought them up because Dr. Chud's in there. Um,
Hmm.
Slim Jelly from Green Jello,
Hmm.
and Thinky Flesh. That's what she's in. I think I'm not assuming pronouns. I just don't know.
Hmm.
Um, and then our sound engineer for Rejected Monsters and Tactless now is Tommy Gibbons.
Oh,
Um, he's from Tantric and Flaw fame.
Flaw, yeah, Flaw. Those, oh my God, that album, Through the Eyes. Let me tell you one thing with that. I could not. I would listen to that out front to back. Listen to that. Even the hidden version of Only the Strong, the piano version of it. All of that because that is exactly. It was almost like Chris Voles wrote that entire album for me. It felt like so weird, you know?
Well, Tommy was in there. They
Mhm.
were on the Colbert show, and Colbert
Mhm.
actually broke his neck headbanging to them.
Oh
Um,
man,
that's when Tommy was in there, but Tommy left, and then the
Mhm.
singer from Flaw went on a racist tirade.
I remember that. Yep.
Yeah, that carried around with Tommy for a bit. Um,
Mhm.
he had a solo project for a bit, so that didn't go so good. He was in Tantric,
Mhm.
which he left. He kind of wishes he hadn't left, but things
Tantric.
happen.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Sometimes it does. Yeah.
Um, now he's playing with a band called Miss Mary, and they're really
Mhm.
good.
All right.
So, but he's our engineer.
That's
He's helped me
awesome.
adjust some of the songs to be sounding better.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
My my co-host Dan, he oh man, he knows or he knows some of the dudes from was it Battlecross? Like he knew some
Hmm.
of them. He actually bought an amp head off of one of them before, like one of the like the Crankenstein of the Crank,
Hmm.
and he knew some of those people. There was just a lot of because we're both from Michigan, so he gets to go to some of the different venues. I'm like, yeah, I'm freaking jealous as hell. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, I leave and you start hanging out with all the people that we love. Good God, dude. You know what I mean? I leave because there were a lot of reasons why I left. I can't ever go back. You know what I mean? I think people will have my head if I ever go back there. But I mean, to visit, of course, but I mean, to live, no, I don't think so. But
I'm
it's
willing to
just,
visit home, so I got you.
yeah, yeah, I mean, yeah, they would definitely not want that. But I do credit Michigan though with being the how do you put this? I do credit Michigan with being where I started. You know what I mean? With this whole thing. April 7th, 1999 is when I became a bass player at about 8:45 a.m. is when I picked up the bass. I remembered that exactly because I was visiting my dad in San Diego, of course, at the first apartment that he had out there. And he was living right in Hillcrest. You know where Hillcrest is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the gay district, of course. And and that was actually the funny part was he picks me and my sister up from the airport. We're there for spring break, and we're just driving through, and then he always says we're just kind of looking around. I'm seeing dudes walking around with holding hands. I'm seeing rainbow flags everywhere. It's not even phasing me, right? And then
Hmm.
we're buying stuff. We're buying some food from Jack in the Box. And my dad turns around like this, and he's like, "So I got to tell you something." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "I'm gay." I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "Are we gonna get our food or what?" And he's just kind of like, he's like, what? You're not surprised? I'm like, Dad, we've known that for a long time. He's like, how'd you know that? I'm like, considering the magazines and all the movies that I found in your basement, totally by accident a couple of years ago. He's like, oh, sorry about that. I'm like, I'm like, we kind of had an idea about it, Dad. He's like, oh, he's like, I don't feel as bad now. I'm like, you shouldn't feel bad anyway. I don't care. Just
Uh,
like, you know.
We must exterminate! The doctor is coming, the doctor is coming, the doctor is coming to kill. He travels through time and he travels through time and he travels through time just to find us. We just want to exterminate anything that isn't us. We are the perfect life forms. Why do we always die, die, die? We must run away, we must run away, we must run away to survive. Must kill all the time lords, must kill all the time lords, must kill all the time lords. Live on. We just want to exterminate anything that isn't us. We are the perfect life forms. Why do we always die, die, die? We've failed. We've failed. We just want to exterminate anything that isn't us. We are the perfect life forms. Why do we always die, 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 die? We are exterminated.
there's some people you can tell things.
Mhm.
A lot of people suspected something was up with me, but they just thought it was like gay or like, gender fluid or something.
Right.
When I came out, some people were taken by surprise. Other people were like,
Uh-huh.
makes sense.
What do you mean,
My sister was instantly accepting. I have a nibbling and two nephews, if you know what nibbling is.
Not quite, no.
Um, they're a trans like niece or nephew, or
Ah,
non-binary niece or nephew, because then
okay.
it's a general
They don't
term.
identify. Right.
Yeah, I have nibbling and two nephews,
Oh,
and
okay.
they instantly were like, Aunt Wilma. I'm like, yeah.
There you
Uh,
go.
um, In fact, me coming out is actually why Rejected Monsters doesn't have a drummer anymore,
Oh.
or our auxiliary bass player slash secondary female vocalist. You would hear on the song "Human Cattle" is
Mhm.
the secondary female voice in there.
Right. Yep.
Uh, they left because I came out as trans,
That's so
and
fucked
they
up.
were already aware. They were aware. Like I brought it
Hmm.
up before I ever came out publicly to my close friends,
Hmm.
and they left. Um,
Why?
so
Why would you do that? It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter what, you know.
well, to be fair, they were both in two in the chest with me as well.
Ah, okay. Hmm.
And they're extremely extremely religious.
Oh, mm.
You
Okay. Yeah, I can
remember
see that.
that.
Uh-huh. I remember. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm actually very glad I'm not in that band anymore. It was never really my type of music. It was more of I just was enjoying playing,
Hmm.
you know. Um, but
Although the costume, I did see some pictures of you guys live with that. I was like, freaking,
mhm.
that's awesome. That's so cool. You
People
know?
thought I looked like Undead Slash because I had like the top hat with a long
Hmm.
curly black wig and
Hmm.
stuff.
That was pretty
So
cool.
yeah, I did that for 2 years. And
Hmm.
for one of those 2 years, we had never cut a hole in my mouth so I could drink or
Oh
anything.
man.
So I'm up on stage, not able to breathe properly with this mask on, burning alive.
Hmm.
And it was terrible. But I did it.
Hmm.
I did it for the love of music, and I got along with my bandmates overall. Like me and Rich, or as he goes by Reverend Blackjack McBride. Um, we didn't see eye to eye on a lot of things,
Hmm.
um, but we got along plenty
Hmm.
until I came out as trans, and
Oh,
then he showed how hateful he really is. I
yep.
blocked him on everything. I blocked
Mm.
him, and the only person of that band that I didn't block was the drummer.
Mhm.
And um, to be blunt, me and her were a couple for a long time.
Ah.
So to spill more tea, um, she and I broke up because she cheated on me with two different people.
Mm.
The first was the guitar player for Rejected Monsters, the zombie.
Mm.
Um, so that didn't go well. And then the final straw where I ended up moving out and leaving and like losing a lot of my stuff because of it. Um, she was messaging a local person from the band Crank Lab Explosion that is not a band anymore, and
Ah.
they were like sexting and stuff back and forth, and
Mm-hmm.
I found out by accident.
Mm. Crack
So
that exploded.
yeah, so whenever her and her daughter were out visiting her son,
Mm-hmm.
um, I packed everything I could and shoved it into an SUV and did 2 trips, and then I was out.
Mm.
That was it.
Dang. Dang. But you're still out
So
here in Phoenix, though, correct?
I
Obviously.
am.
Okay.
I am. I'm actually not too far from the gay district.
Right on. Right on. I'm kind of like
Yeah.
in north. Actually, you know what's kind of funny, right?
Uh-huh.
How the whole Cognizant thing, the building, right, is all shut down, like everything. It's still there, but the weirdest part is, right, because I used to live way off of like Thomas Road, and then I moved up to like over near Indian School, right? Now I'm actually like a couple blocks away from the old Cognizant building.
Same.
It's oh God, it's so weird. I'm like, dude, I don't even work there anymore, and I'm fucking here. What?
Whenever I was doing Uber Eats, when I still had a car, I don't have a car anymore. I do have fundraisers to help me with things.
Mhm.
Um, I'm not sure if you want those for any reason.
Mhm.
But
Like,
uh, I delivered food there a few times to the security and to the healthcare place next door. So
okay.
I was like, this is weird.
Hmm. No, every once in a while I'll drive into the complex and I'm kind of like, damn. What the fuck,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I don't talk to many people from Cognizant anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't have a lot of people from my past that I still talk to. I still talk to like a few of my ex-girlfriends.
Hmm.
Um, so like, and that's occasionally. Uh,
Hmm.
as it stands, my circle's grown so small. I pretty much talk to on a regular basis, like an almost daily basis, like four people, maybe five.
Ah, okay. So like, because the thing is, I've never actually, gotten to go to any like the local shows or anything. That's why I'm always very curious because it's like, I obviously the priorities and whatnot, I have to do all that, and it's which I'm cool with. And but I just like I've been so curious as to like how big the actual Phoenix scene is. Because I noticed there's a lot of bands that have come out of here. Like obviously Soulfly, you've had Job for a Cowboy, Abigail Williams was here from at one point in time. There's I mean obviously Flotsam and Jetsam, Jason
Hmm.
Newsted fame at one point.
Hmm.
God, there's I mean so many, like even the Gin Blossoms of all things are from like in this
Hmm.
area. I mean it's just like I mean, is there something in the water that's like we're producing musicians?
I think it's because it's too hot to go out during the summer
Mhm.
at all, so you kind of stuck inside. So
Pretty
you
much.
figure out what you can do inside. Um,
Right.
the local scene out here, it really depends on what show you're going to and who's playing, what the cover charge is, where the venue is, and if there's any other big bands playing at the same time. You'll
That's
have
right.
shows that are like shoulder to shoulder packed where you can't move around. But then
Hmm.
you'll also have shows where it's like you walk in and it's just the other bandmates and like the staff there.
Oh God. Yep.
Um,
Those.
I've played shows back at when Joe's Grotto was still open. I played shows where like you could not walk around. There were so many
Mhm.
people. Um, I played that at Palo Verde where it was so full you could barely move around.
It's a
Played
nice
that.
place, Palo Verde.
Yeah. I've gone to 44 shows and played 44 shows where it was like that.
Hmm.
Um, but I've also played literally to like the audience of the staff. Like even the
Hmm.
other bands weren't there.
That happened in the Philippines to me. It was like it was a band called Soul Incinerator. We were a metalcore band, and so obviously, and because it was so freaking hot on stage, right, and because of how hot it is out there, right, you can have the air conditioner blasting and you're still sweating. So I would end up wearing my Pistons jersey, a big like red Pistons jersey all the time. That was like my signature and the backpack, and what happened was that like I remember the first few shows that we played. Right. And it was the same situation, all just the bands. And then like the promoter, the sound guy, so it's like you hear crickets whenever it stops, nobody's paying attention to you. We played like, was it three or four shows, like our first few shows. And then I remember we did this thing, we got invited to play this thing called Mosh Pit Sundays. And, but you have to be like the elite to play that. You have to be like the best to play that. Right. And, we're kind of like, why us? Right? What the, what you guys invite us for? Okay. And then the band that they put us after was one of the best metalcore hardcore bands there. This band called Bad Burn. So of course they put us after them. And then we're like, great. So we got to, we really got to step this up. We can't just sit there standing around doing this. We have to really, 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 really step up. We went in, and then obviously nobody's inside because nobody really knows who we are. And everybody's outside. You can see everybody out the windows. And then I look at Roman, my guitarist, like this. I look over at Emil, our singer. I was kind of like, well, I'm like, I guess we could probably I guess we should just start, right? And then he hits the opening riff for our intro. It's this really just heavy, chuggy breakdown thing like that. Drummer's flailing all over, and then all of a sudden, like everybody starts turning around. I'm like, what's going on? Like we're going into this, we're getting into it. 2 seconds later, we got people like arm to arm, living like this in front of the stage. The whole place is packed. We're like, what the fuck is going on? And then from then on, our crowds got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Like every single show. Like then I think we did an anniversary gig, where it's like our 1 year thing. So it was like we handpicked all the bands and invited a whole bunch of people. And my cousin even showed up. And what happened was we weren't expecting it was this tiny, tiny thing. It was like maybe about the size of Palo Verde. You know what I mean? It was this tiny, tiny, tiny place. And let's just say it would have been a fire code violation. Let's just put it that way. But it was uh we get in, and we lost count of people already. And I remember I look at because the stage is like down at the ground. So you're eye level with everybody, and so I can't see who's in there. And then somebody told me when I started cleaning up, when I started getting all my stuff out, they're like, dude, there were people out in the street because they couldn't get in. It's like, what the hell? They're like, there's people like literally trying to look through the windows because they couldn't get in. I was like, that's how packed it was. Like, yeah, for your guys' set, there were that many people that were like so many, like all. And then there's a video somebody took. Like you can literally see it. Like, it looks like they're standing on they might be standing on a table or something. I can't remember when they're filming it, but you can see like the whole crowd of kids is like doing the whole like watching this stuff. Like, you can see a whole is a sea of people doing that. And I was like, my God, I can't even see this up there. It's so crazy. You know?
Yeah. I've never played a show like that intense.
Mhm.
Um, like I said, I've played where it's like shoulder to shoulder and it's
Mhm.
filled, but never like people begging to get in. Um, I think overall, the problem we run into with rejected monsters specifically, we're either the opening sound check band where they're still working out the problems with the sound system and everything's just going wrong,
Mhm.
or we're the closing band that everyone's going
Mhm.
home because it's too late. Um,
Ah, no. Mm.
yeah, we've played bigger shows with Rejected and we've gotten good response, but
Mhm.
because we have so many issues that pop up, it's not fun.
Mhm.
Tactless, we've done a lot of opening with Tactless, and we've
Mhm.
had sound issues, but we just play through it. That's what you do.
Exactly. Oh yeah. And that was actually it goes back to that whole thing we were talking about like with the DIY shows. I've always loved that whole thing. It's like it's all like camaraderie. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing of like being, just there with everybody else. I think I prefer that over like big time shows. You know what I mean? Like the biggest
Yeah.
shows because it's just like, you get to actually hang out with your friends, but at the same time, you know. You're watching everybody's bands, but you're also bringing other people with you, and there's really no animosity, you know.
That's the biggest thing. A few shows that we played that we were expecting a good turnout because we set
Mhm.
up the show months in advance. We had a bunch of people wanting to come. We set up like bands that had great draws to play with
Mhm.
us and stuff like that. We set up months in advance, and then there's a show announced like a week or two before, being like, "Oh, this big name act is playing." It's like there goes our
Mhm.
audience
Mm.
because
Yeah.
what you run into is either A, it's the same bands playing together over and over again,
Mhm.
um, or the shows have like this show has these people that draw these audience, and this show has this people that draw this audience, and the
Mhm.
middle ground audience likes both bands. So
Yeah.
which band are they gonna go see?
That's one thing. Yeah. Mhm.
Um, that's why like I'm never really disheartened when there's nobody at the show as much. And yeah, it
Mhm.
sucks, but I'm still gonna bring my all every show I can.
Of course. Of
I get off
course.
stage and I have problems walking because my knees are hurt from jumping around.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah.
heck, my last, not the last show, but the last two shows before that with Tackless, I stripped down to my bra and my undershorts because I
Uh-huh.
was like so hot from bouncing around that I needed to cool down. So,
Oh yeah. I didn't do that actually at a Soul Incinerator show because anytime that I would do that, like, I'm all over the place throwing the bass around, swing it like a baseball bat, you know what I mean?
mhm.
And then I literally had this, I mean, it probably wasn't the smartest idea, but to grab a water bottle and just dump it over my head like this, I'm like, glad I didn't fry the electronics on my like $900 Spectre that I had. But it was like, man, but it was just, it's that same thing. You got to do what you got to do to kind of go off up there sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, it happens. But I would love to get you out to a show. I mean, we have Tackless has a show on February 22nd that we're
Wait a
doing.
second. Mm-hmm.
And then March 7th, we have a CD release.
Whoa.
The next week after that, we're playing in Albuquerque.
Mm-hmm.
Rejected is playing the Albuquerque show as well. So that's
Right
going to be
on.
interesting. Um,
Awesome.
the only thing that kind of sucks is Brooke, my bass player, is
Mm-hmm.
actually fighting breast cancer right now. So she got good news on it,
Mm-hmm.
but we're not sure how long it's going to take and how much it's going to drain her, like
Mm-hmm.
physically, to see if there's going to be any issues. We're
Mm-hmm.
still pushing to do the show. If
Mm-hmm.
anything, I'll go out there and do it acoustic style for myself. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Oh, for sure.
I'm not passing up the opportunity to play another city,
Of
like,
course.
especially with my friends in the band Trans Exile.
Mm-hmm.
They're industrial oil.
Oh,
And
industrial oil. That's gonna sound interesting. Oh, hell yeah.
my friend Joan, who me and her have like a lot of like romantic talk and connection. Um,
Hmm.
she's the singer. She's trans. She's Native American.
Hmm. Oh, nice.
I think Lakota is what
Okay.
tribe she's from.
Okay.
Um, I love her to death. And I'm
Hell
looking
yeah.
forward to actually physically meeting her for the first time.
That's gonna be so cool.
Um, so that's interesting. I'm trying to raise funds to actually afford different things for that
Hmm.
trip. It's kind of hard with my job. I do work a day job.
Hmm.
It just doesn't pay very good. Um,
No.
and then, like I said, I do like adult pornography stuff. Uh,
Hmm.
so I'm pushing that a bit.
Hmm.
I'm an author. I have books I've published.
Oh,
I've done
nice.
films. I made a few films. One of them is still in editing hell.
Oh
Uh,
no.
I was in a film that I didn't
Hmm.
write or direct. I was just in it.
Hmm.
Um, that's not been released yet either.
Right on.
Um, so
That's one
I
of my
have all
biggest
that.
things. That's actually one of my
And
biggest. What's that? Good.
you knew that, right? Like
What, that you were
I'm
in
not.
movies?
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember hearing that. I think it was in Cognizant. I think you were talking about like doing like I thought I heard you say something like, or I saw somewhere that you were like doing like like a movie or filming or something like that, doing kind of stuff like that.
yeah.
That's actually something that's always interested me too. Is kind of like I've actually been, believe it or not, since 2017. There's a story that I've been working on for like years already, and it's basically kind of like, obviously about metal, but it's got like a really really crazy storyline. It's all about like this like crazy like all girl death metal band that came from the middle of nowhere in Nebraska for whatever reason. I just randomly found some town on the map, and then just like, okay, let me just see, let me start building some things on it, and I'm still ongoing with it. I'm just still doing it. It's like, I'm just kind of in one of those things where I'm kind of hesitant to actually like release it. You know what I mean? I'm so hesitant to release it because the way that I see it is I don't want it to ever end. You know what I mean? It
Right,
still keeps going in my head for like almost 10 years now. And it's just kind of like I keep adding more and more and more and more to it every single day. And then I've been trying to figure out some way to turn it into a series of some sort, but I don't have the money for that, nor do I know anybody that would even be willing to do that forever. You know what I mean?
right. Like I've filmed a few like short films.
Hmm.
Some of them based on my horror stories that I wrote. One of the books I wrote was a collection of horror stories I made based on mental disorders and phobias.
Hmm.
Um, I filmed two stories from that. One got released,
Hmm.
and it was only released because it wasn't finished, but
Hmm.
the actress we lost and the film location we lost.
Oh. Mm.
So I couldn't reshoot it. So I'm not wasting all this effort I've put into this already. So I just released it.
Hmm.
It was originally gonna be part of like an anthology film, like a full
Hmm.
length film, but because
Hmm.
it was incomplete, I'm like, I'll just release it as is.
Hmm.
Um, Another one, I actually paid for two actors from Hollywood
Oh no.
to be in it. They were a couple. They're not a
Hmm.
couple anymore. Um, but the person that helped me film it has the video file still, and some of them got a little bit iffy. Um, they're ones we don't need the actors for to reshoot, but just
Hmm.
mine and his schedule have not really got together for us to work on it.
Right on.
Um, so
All right.
that's that.
Hmm.
Uh, and then the first film I did was when I worked at Cognizant.
Hmm.
I'd released it and it's extremely bad looking back at it. I did the filming, editing, everything, and
Hmm.
I'm like, no, I need someone to help me with this stuff.
Hmm. That's true. Actually, that's what I do with the videos for this. My degree is in this kind of stuff, so I kind of like I'm trying to. I hadn't done it in years, so it's kind of like you can see each one of the videos that's getting better and better and better because I'm starting to kind of remember exactly how to do it. You know what I mean? So it's like
Right,
you'll see it if you look from the first one all the way up to Scott from Bleeding Through, you'll see the huge difference in it. You know what I mean? But also some of the stuff too, some stuff I can't put the music on too because I don't have because some of those artists are signed and I can't necessarily get the permission. I don't have the money to pay for those. You know what I mean? But yeah.
I don't mind you using Rejected's music
Okay.
as much,
Mhm.
as long as you put links down to the songs you used.
Of course.
Um,
Yeah, of
and
course.
um, with that, also, I can't speak on the behalf of Dutch, but Tactless has given me permission to use any of our recorded stuff
Mhm.
for promotional video things.
Okay.
For instance, my two of my last pornos I just shot, we used
Mhm.
rejected backless music over it. So
Awesome.
um, I I'm not ashamed of it. I'm actually very proud of myself for doing it. I used to do camming and wasn't very good at it,
Mhm.
but doing the porno
Mhm.
things, it's like, oh, I get to be a character. I get to design like how I'm setting these up. I get to choose my outfits, do my makeup properly. I'm
Awesome.
in control of it.
For sure.
Um, and I went to school for game development of all things.
Hmm.
Um, I did release a game. I released two. One of them
Hmm.
was incomplete, and the team I was working with don't
Hmm.
talk with me anymore.
Uh-oh.
So it's just stayed like incomplete. And the other one is finished. I have
Hmm.
two more I'm working on.
Yeah. And
I do all
also,
this and I'm broke.
well, again, though, thank you so much for coming on, Wilma. It's been good to see you, of course. And again, you guys remember to like and subscribe and to actually like this podcast and support us, everything like that. Remember, support Rejected Monsters and Tactless. I love you guys. Peace. Nice to see you again, Wilma. Have a good day.
I
Bye.